Hello, coaches! Welcome back to another episode of Coach Better Spotlight. My name is Kim Cafino, and I've worked with hundreds of teachers, coaches, and leaders in schools around the world to help them create thriving and sustainable coaching programs. And I'm on a mission to help you coach better. Wherever you are in your coaching journey, come learn with us in one of our courses for instructional coaches or our private mentoring packages. Join our global Coach Better community and find all of our resources for instructional coaches on our website at coachbetter.tv. If you have a question you'd like to hear us answer or a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, please drop us a line on our website at coachbetter.tv/ask, or join our Coach Better Facebook group, or find us on social media at Eduro Learning and send me a DM. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to catch all of our latest episodes here on YouTube. Today, we have a very special episode. This is a podcast launch party for my new book, Finding Your Path as a Woman in School Leadership, a guide for educators, allies, and advocates. I'm still in shock that Dr. Christina Botville and I wrote a whole book and that it's actually available for you to purchase, but we did, and we are ready to celebrate this work. So in this episode, Christina and I are being interviewed by 4 of our early readers of the book: Alexandra Gustad, Rania Saeb, Sarah Plews, and Uze Ashton, all amazing educational leaders in their own right. These 4 women, along with our other early readers, we had over 15 readers of the book before we submitted our final manuscript, gave us vital feedback and encouragement along the path of completing this work. We are so grateful to all of our readers, editors, and supporters as we completed this project over the last year. In this Spotlight episode, we are sharing the key takeaways from the book from our panel hosts. The full-length audio podcast episode includes some of the behind-the-scenes stories of writing the book, what readers can expect to get out of the book, and our hopes as we put this work out into the world. If you are a growing or aspiring leader, or you support them in your work, this episode is for you. To listen to the full episode, subscribe to Coach Better wherever you get your podcasts. Before we jump into the episode, here's a little bit about the book. Featuring the experience of over 70 successful female leaders in international public and private schools around the world, Finding Your Path as a Woman in School Leadership brings together interconnected stories about the realities of being a woman in K-12 school leadership today. Along with these insightful real-life stories and experiences, the book weaves together relevant research on key issues facing women pursuing a leadership pathway, along with practical actions for aspiring leaders, their mentors and allies, and specific strategies schools can implement to address the systemic inequity often prevalent in our schools and organizations. If you are a growing and aspiring leader, or you want to make our schools more equitable places for future female leaders, please find all the details and an opportunity to join our virtual book study, more about that at the end of the episode, at edurolearning.com/WWLbook. And I know I didn't prepare anyone on this panel for this, but I'm just realizing that it would be so wonderful to just hear a takeaway, a highlight, something that stood out to you in the book, something that you hope others get out of the book, anything that Uzai, Alex, Rania, or Sarah would love to share with us, just a highlight from the book from you, from your perspective as a reader. And I know that you all read the Google Doc version and not the nice typeset version in your hands. But hopefully you have something you might be willing to share with our listeners, our viewers, about what you took away from your read of the book, this section that you were able to read. Is it okay if I just call on someone? Does anybody have anyone ready to talk about that, since I didn't?
Should I start?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that okay? I was really, my aha moment in reading the book was the part about the imposter syndrome and the number of women who aspire to leadership or who are in leadership who still suffer from this. Do I really deserve to be here? Maybe they've made a mistake. Maybe, because I thought that was just me. And I had never heard of this term before until somebody introduced me to it many years ago. And they said, oh, you just have imposter syndrome. Of course you're qualified. Of course you can do the work. And in many conversations that I've had with my colleagues and my friends, we all suffer from a version of imposter syndrome. But it's funny because when I talk to a lot of my male colleagues, they don't like, and when I mention it, they're like, no, I got this job because I deserve it, or I worked hard for it, or et cetera, et cetera. And when you talk to women, it's like, well, like they're making excuses for it. So I'm really glad that you discussed that in the book and amplified it, because I think we need to know, as women, we need to know that, there's nothing wrong with us. We deserve to be here just as much as anyone else. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
I'm so glad that resonated with you, resonated with me too, when I was listening to the stories. And I think you really described the peek behind the curtain concept that I was trying to get at when I started the interviews. We see women in positions of authority and we think, wow, they were born like this. They came out of the womb, this spectacular human being. And then you listen to the interviews or you read the book and you realize, oh, everybody has those moments. Everybody has their own challenges. And even in some cases, the challenges that I might perceive as so big, someone else has even more challenges. And look how far they have come and what they have had to deal with. And I think that is it is such an inspirational piece to recognize you're not alone in your journey. And I know somebody else might pick up on that, but we did try to thread that through the book a lot, that comment, you're not alone. It's not just you. You're not the only one who feels this way. This is happening to other people. Don't feel isolated in this pathway, even if it seems like the others around you are all so successful. Would anyone else be willing to share an aha moment or a takeaway?
Actually, I'd like to speak to what you're talking about right now, and that's that we are not working in silos. Like you said, Kim, we're not isolated. There are many women throughout this arena who are going through similar things, but we're all taking such diverse pathways to get there. And so I think highlighting that there is no necessarily one size fits all way to get there, but that we might do it in, through different manners, different paths, different journeys, but we're there to help each other. And Christina, you were speaking just a moment ago, I was thinking about how one way that we might uplift each other is by bringing this to our own organizations, having book studies about it, and creating a support group for women who are going through this, and to share our experiences and to say, look, we are not alone. We're in this together.
Thank you for bringing up the concept of a book study. Sorry, I know someone else is ready to talk, might be Sarah. I just want to jump onto that real quick. Thank you for bringing up the concept of a book study, Alex. This is something that Christina and I are planning right now. And by the time this podcast airs, we'll have it all set up. So at the end of this episode, and probably a little bit at the beginning, you'll hear one of the ways that you might be interested, 4 of you, but everyone listening might be interested in participating in a virtual book study with us. So the details about that, I might be so smooth that it'll be on the screen somewhere down here, but for sure it'll be at the beginning and the end of this podcast too. So thank you for bringing that up. And Sarah, I know you were just about to talk, and sorry that I cut you off there.
No, thanks, Kim. It's actually connecting with both Alex's comment and your comment, Kim. For me, it was the actual, not one piece of the book, it's the whole journey of going through the book and reading the book. It's a huge reflective process that you invite us in, and such a powerful transformational one that has real impact. So it's a very powerful way of allowing us to reframe our current thinking about leadership, concept of leadership and our own leadership. So yeah, it's not one specific point, but it's the whole book. And I think that very much connects to the book study, because if we can do this with others, then we're really leveraging the collective efficacy of our team. So yeah, not one point, the whole piece. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Alex.
So beautiful. Thank you. Rania, I'm going to put you on the spot. Will you share an aha?
Oh, no, please. I'm ready to say so many things. I'm going to pick up from Uzai a little bit and say I absolutely resonated with all the imposter syndrome talk, because that's something that I struggle with, continue to struggle with. And when Christina was talking about the person on her shoulder, I have one too that creeps up from time to time. And I think most of us women do. And so it takes me to this idea that the book really brings together this lovely, beautiful, almost like union of women, where we're all going through, I don't want to say it's a struggle, but let's call it like it is. It's a struggle most of the time. The journey to leadership. We all kind of go through it. Yeah, maybe in isolated different places, literally, but it's nice that you get to read something that reminds you that you're not alone, that there are other women going through the same thing and you're just as powerful as the rest of them. And then the other thing, completely different thought, was I'm a little bit obsessed with storytelling in general and education. And I love that your book centers around telling stories, because we can learn so much from people's stories. It makes it so much more intimate, and it really connects us with everyone that you've interviewed. And then finally, thank you for adding the action steps, because so many books in education are all theoretical or, this and that. And yeah, you learn, but like, what do I do with this? How do I put this in my classroom? Or how do I use this with my leadership team or with my learning community, et cetera? But the action steps are fantastic. There's something that I can actually do, and they're not just these really vague directions. So thank you to you both for being very intentional with that.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for spending your time on this Sunday having this conversation. I know it is very inconvenient hours for some of you because we are all over the globe. And thank you for those highlight moments. It's so wonderful to hear. And I do want to highlight just a little bit about that piece about the action steps. I know we've gone through it a lot, but a lot of the feedback that we got was, could you have a workbook with this? And while we have no idea what the publisher is going to want to do next, we really tried to almost make the workbook kind of inside this book. Like, there's a little bit of space for you to write things down. You might need an additional actual notebook, but we really tried to make it as practical as possible. And so I think feeling like you're part of the journey, we've got that collective efficacy of the community. We're recognizing that everybody's pathway looks differently, that we are all having similar struggles, but there's action you can take through the work that is in this book. And hopefully you will be inspired to take that action from reading those stories and recognizing yourself in those stories and the grounding in the research. That really sums up what we try to do with this book. Hi, coaches. Thanks for watching this clip with our panel and for exploring the stories behind finding your path as a woman in school leadership. If hearing about this book has inspired you to think about your own leadership journey or how you can support others on their journey, please buy the book. You can find all the details at edurolearning.com/WWLbook. If you want to discuss this book with other educators like you, please join me and Christina for our virtual book study. We'll begin in February and registration is open right now. Get all the details at edurolearning.com/WWLbook. In these 4 live sessions with me and Christina, you'll build your network of growing and aspiring leaders. You'll put the actions from the book into practice. You'll work through the unique challenges that women face in a supportive community. You'll hear inspirational stories from the interviews and discuss key quotes and research featured in the book. For all the details, register on our website at edurolearning.com/WWLbook. We can't wait to talk about the book with you. If you're curious right now and you have questions, please reach out. You can leave a comment below, you can join our Coach Better Facebook group, or you can find us on social media at Eduro Learning and send me a DM. I'd love to support you on your coaching and leadership journey. See you next time.